As Canada's population grows, so does the need for housing. But is this country doing enough to keep up? A recent article from CTV found that Canada needs to build 50% more homes than they already have planned to keep up with the target levels of immigration. So in this video, we are going to go over the challenges of building enough homes to keep up with the rapidly increasing population. If you get any value of this video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel to stay in the know about all things real estate. So looking at Canada's plan for immigration over the next couple of years, the country has a target of welcoming 500,000 new permanent residents in the year 2025. And that plan includes 465,000 new immigrants this year, 485,000 next year, and finally, like I said, 500,000 in the year 2025 alone. And one of the main reasons for these higher levels of immigration are the aging population and the low fertility rate, which are ultimately impacting our country's natural labor force. So basically, Canada needs higher levels of immigration to sustain our labor market and to keep our economy strong. Luckily, many of these newcomers are what are known as economic immigrants, so they are highly educated individuals. They value Canada's strong economy, and they're going to be filling a number of the jobs that we see across many different sectors in the Canadian economy. However, on the flip side of Canada's need for higher immigration is the concern for a national housing shortage. Now, whether you've heard it from one of our past videos or in the news, Canada already has an issue with a housing shortage right across the country. In fact, Canada ranks the lowest out of all of the G7 countries when looking at who has enough homes per capita. Canada ranks in at 424 homes per 1,000 people, which again, as you can see here, is the lowest amongst the G7 countries. And with immigration levels set to increase over the coming years, it's obvious that we have a real supply issue in this country. In the GTA, about 49% of newcomers say that they purchase a home within the first 5 years of living here, which is obviously going to create a demand in the housing market. And before these newcomers purchase a home, they're going to be renting. And that's where we're also seeing an issue. We're seeing a shortage in the supply of rentals. We're also seeing very low levels of vacancy rates, some of the lowest we've seen in about 20 years. So what impact is this going to have on affordability in Canada and housing prices? Well, supply and demand are a big impact on the real estate market in Canada. And when we look at a housing shortage, that might be getting worse, which is our supply or our inventory. And on the flip side, higher levels of immigration, which will lead to higher levels of demand. I think it's safe to say that over the next coming years, we're going to see increasing prices across Canada. So how do we address this housing shortage that we're experiencing, and how do we actually build more homes? Well, the Canadian government has already done a number of things to address this issue. First being passing Bill 23 last year, which is the More Homes Built Faster Act. Seems like this could impact this issue, right? It basically is going to make the building process faster and more efficient for building houses. It's also going to ease regulations for a number of types of buildings, including multi-unit housing. And finally, there's going to be more focus on purpose-built rental housing. Another thing we're seeing is Ontario is investing into the construction sector to combat the labor shortage that we're seeing. So they recently invested $3.7 million into Merit Ontario, which helps builders and contractors expand their labor pool and get more workers onto sites and working in the construction industry. This will ideally in turn increase our capacity, at least in Ontario, to build more homes. And finally, I think the levels of immigration are going to help. Like I mentioned, a lot of the newcomers are going to be jumping right into our labor force, which is going to expand our capacity to build more homes right across the country. So what else do you think could be done by the Canadian government to, one, combat the housing shortage we're seeing, and two, build homes faster across the country? Well, let us know in the comments down below. That's it for this video. We hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out and we'll talk to you soon.